So one of the things that I feel like me and a lot of people in MLB The Show get excited for before the game drops is the amount of new legends that we get. Every single year, there's always so many new reveals for a bunch of new legends that we get. And I feel like something that kind of we overlook about a little bit is the amount of guys that we lose every year. Now, if you guys are new to MLB The Show or just a newer player in general, every year we get a brand new Legends class with a bunch of new guys that they add because all time in the history of the MLB, there's so many players that have played, so many incredible players, and it's really tough to kind of add all those guys into the game. But with all the guys that they add, we also lose a bunch of guys too, which in my opinion should just not be that way. I'm going to cover this. Shout out to Ainge Nation. We'll put his link in the description down below. And shout out to Greg Monroe, who had made this blog over on his blog website or something, some type of website over there. We'll put the link in the description for him down below too. There's like a big group of guys that do like a bunch of research before the game drops. Like right when the game drops, they kind of go into like the settings of the game and like they look at the legend rosters and like the player models and stuff, and they realize who they've lost and what guys we have lost rights to before the game really kind of officially drops. And this list is all of the guys that we lost between 25 and 26. And man, this is a doozy. There was a plethora of guys I feel are a mass amount of big time legends. Kick it off, we got Tony Clark, who I feel like, if you kind of think about what happened IRL, it's kind of self-explanatory. If you guys don't know what he did, just kind of Google it, because there's a lot of stuff that has happened recently with Tony Clark. For the player and for him in MLB The Show, it does kind of suck to see him go because he was always fun. I mean, switch hitter for his baseman, you can't go wrong with switch hitters. I know last year the switch hitter meta was way too crazy, but he was always a good option. He had that BR card a few years ago that was really fun to use. Preston Wilson, another guy that we lost in 26. He was a one-and-done guy. He was only in 25. He was one of those kind of just a fun new guy that I thought was going to maybe stick around a little bit longer than only 1 year, but unfortunately they removed him. Jordan Zimmerman too. We did get an early card of Jordan Zimmerman in 25. I believe he was the NL East collection. I think he was the NL East, right? Was he the East or the... No, he was the East, just the East, right? I think he was a 92. That Zimmerman card kind of slapped. He was a good little pitcher early in the game. I know I had him P5. He got his 99 later in the game that may not have been used as much because there was just better options, but Zimmerman was kind of fun, and it would have been nice to see him stick around because he was good in the game. Another few names here. We got Jason Kipnis, who was a one-and-done guy too. Ryan Ludwig, who I believe was in 2 games. I don't know if he was in 23. I think he was in 24 and 25. So he was pretty much a one-and-done. I mean, he wasn't used very much. He wasn't like a big-time legend by any means, but I like when they add those guys. Somebody like a Ryan Ludwig or like a Tony Clark or even like a Jason Kipnis, who wasn't like an incredible player by any means, but they were just kind of like a fun little guy that a lot of us grew up with. I mean, they may have been like a one-time all-star, maybe got like a silver slugger, may not have, stuffed the trophy room when it comes to trophies and awards, but they were just fun little players. So it really sucks to see some of those guys go because I thought they were kind of trended in the right direction by adding some of those guys that may not have been like a Hall of Fame type guy, but they were just fun to add. So to lose those guys, I think really sucks. Joe Nathan, which I mean, he's been in the game for quite a few years now, and he was just not really used that much, which kind of really sucks because growing up, Joe Nathan was one of those guys, man. He was one of the better relievers most of my childhood, 2000s, 2010s. He was lights out for the Rangers and the Twins for all those years. He was great. And I feel like they just never did him justice in the game. He always got like a 97. He never got like a 99. He would always get like a 97. So I can never really remember a time where he was like the meta reliever. And I feel like part of that is like the game mechanics, and part of that is just them not implementing him right. He was never going to be better than Mo or like a Kenley or like a Raleigh Fingers or a Chapman or a Wagner. He was never really going to fit in your bullpen. So... And part of that was because every year they would just release the same Joe Nathan, and he was just never going to be used. With these next names, I might shed a tear. My boy, Mike Lowell. If you guys watch the streams in MLB The Show 24, Mike Lowell. Just give me a minute here, guys. Mike Lowell's action figure card may have been one of my favorite cards in MLB The Show history. I'm not even just saying 24, but MLB The Show history. He was one of those guys, man. He just wasn't used that much. I understand he was not a great card for a lot of other people, but for whatever reason, he just destroyed baseballs for me. And I'm not just talking about like a light 350-foot home run or like a 370-foot home run. This man, crushed 5 50-foot home runs. I don't know what it was with Mike Lowell, and I hate to see him go because he was one of my favorite guys. Jason Bay, too. I mean, I got to rep my guy. He's Canadian, Jason Bay. He had like that one card, I think from like 22 that I really liked. But other than that, yeah, I understand he was not really used that much. He was never going to be really that great in the game because his defense was never good. He wasn't going to be quick. There was just always going to be better options. We got some big time hitters right here. Fernando Valenzuela is gone. And part of that might be because he did just pass away within the last couple years. So I understand if his family did not want him to be a part of the game anymore. They did not want to really release his rights, which I completely understand. Definitely warrant his family and everything like that, which I don't fully understand. Like, how they go about the rights, like we've never really got information on that. Like, do they have like a contract just on the table? Do they like I don't understand exactly how they go about that. So like maybe his family has nothing to do with it. I would assume so, but like I don't know exactly all the information. And then Tim Raines, man, I mean Tim Raines was incredible. He was added in MLB The Show 23. I know his I was kind of skeptical about him when he was at it because I was like, you know, if you look at his career, he wasn't like a he wasn't a Hall of Fame caliber hitter. He was just an all-around good player. And I thought, you know what, maybe he won't be that good in the game. He might not have like low power, but oh my God, they did a great job with Tim Raines. They juiced the hell out of all his cards. He had the Moonshot card in 25. That was unreal. He was a versatile guy. He could play second base in the outfield, of course. 99 speed, 99 stealing. The contact power was always there. His swing was nuts. I think as far as like top players go and people that would use him the most, or sorry, of all these guys, I think Tim Raines probably was used the most amongst especially some of the top guys in the game. So it's really going to suck to see him go. Guys like Brandon Webb and Reggie Sanders, who unfortunately I feel like were just kind of just in the game. They just weren't really like implemented the right way. And I have like a big video that I want to release hopefully soon, just kind of going over like content and like the legend classes in the game. And I have like this big idea that I kind of want to like present to some of you guys and just kind of get what you guys think, of course, and just kind of get it out there because I have a really big idea and kind of want to talk about something that they could kind of maybe use to maybe save the structure as far as the game goes. Now these last few names, man, these are the heaviest of the heavy. Prince Fielder is gone from MLB The Show. Now, I miss the days where Prince Fielder was one of the most asked for legends. Back in like MLB The Show 18, MLB The Show 19, when a lot of us kind of really got our, kind of got the roots kicking with MLB The Show, Prince Fielder, amongst like Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, A-Rod, was one of the most asked for legends year in and year out. They finally added him, I believe, in 21. And, yeah, they just completely screwed him. Not only did they never give him a good card as far as attributes go, not only did they really never release him at the right time, but if you guys never saw this man's player model, oh my God, this guy was bigger than the fat bastard from Austin Powers. This man may have been 600 pounds on the game, and he had a certain swing where his arms would glitch into his body and like go through his body, so it would just completely mess up his swing and mess up like things in the game. So he was pretty much broken in a way. Like, I know he was still kind of used once in a while. I liked kind of using Prince just for somebody different. But he was kind of broken. And I feel like after 4 years of him being in the game, 4 or 5 years, they never fixed him. They never fixed his body. They never fixed his player model. They never released him at the right time. They never gave him good cards. His attributes were never up to par. First base was always a loaded position, so you would know to absolutely boost the hell out of his stats, and they never did. So Prince Fielder never got the justice he deserved in every aspect of this game. Another big guy for me was Matt Holliday. I always liked Matt Holliday in the game, and it really sucks to see him go because I loved him in 24 and 23. I used him a lot in 25 too. I feel like I didn't use him as much as I did in 24. Him and Mike Lowell were like my two, 1-2 punch in 24. Man, I love those action figure cards. So it sucks to see somebody like him go too, which I feel like it was more of a recent guy. Of course, Matt Holliday played in the late 2000s, early 2010s. He, a lot of us know who Matt Holliday is, Prince Fielder. These guys, we grew up with these players. So to lose these guys and then get guys like, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but to Lou Boudreau and Red Shane Dice, whoever the hell that is. Like, I know those guys are Hall of Famers, but to lose some of these marketable names that the player base knows. And I understand kind of wanting to, get the history of the game out there and teach us certain guys. I understand that. But why does that have to come at the expense of some of these guys that we grew up with? And then, man, oh man, I don't know if you guys can see this entire little paragraph underneath Mount Holiday, but you guys may have been able to see some of the names. We lost Frank Thomas, Ricky Henderson, and another big legend that was not named here, Todd Helton, are all gone from MLB The Show. And Frank Thomas, I feel like he was always a mainstay. He was in every MLB The Show that I can remember from like 18 on. And there was one point where Frank Thomas was an AL collection. He was the AL guy in MLB The Show, I believe 22 or 23 or one of those games. And now he's gone. He was always a great option, a great viable option at first base. And it's going to be weird to see Frank Thomas gone, man. I remember he was lethal in 19. If you guys remember the signature year in 19 where he was one of those choice cards in that level 99 pack. It was him, Tony Gwynn, Brooks Robinson, Joe Morgan, and Duke Snider. Frank Thomas was like one of the poster boys of MLB The Show 19. Speaking of poster boys, Ricky Henderson, when he was revealed in MLB The Show 19, I feel like he was another poster boy. I feel like every social media post you would see Ricky Henderson. Anything to do with MLB The Show was kind of based around Ricky Henderson, I feel, there for like a little while. I mean, it's Ricky Henderson, for Christ's sakes. He was one of the biggest names in his time. One of the flashiest players of all time. He's the stolen base king, for crying out loud. And rest in peace, rest his soul. He just passed away not long ago, so I understand if that's the reason why he's not in the game anymore, but it really sucks to see somebody like him go, man. He's such a big name in history. And Todd Helton, like I said, his name is not listed here, but he is confirmed to not be in the game. Now, I know this list says that these names were not, or sorry, some of these names are confirmed, and the list might be longer. We are now 7 days post this original blog, so all of these names have been 100% confirmed. And like I said, Todd Helton is added to that too. And I don't know, man, I might be the first person to say this. I don't know if you guys agree, but if you look at all the added legends that we got this year, and I want to talk about this in a different video too, but we got some good names. We got Andrew Jones, Albert Pujols, Pedroia is a good name, Greg Nettles, the spelling is wrong there, but Greg Nettles, Roy Campanella. We got some good names. Felix is in there. Troy Tulowitzki is not listed here, but we did get Troy this year, so we got some good names. But in my opinion, I think this list right here of all the guys that we lost is bigger and better than the added legends we got this year, as far as memorable names in MLB The Show, as far as like more recent guys that I think a lot of like the player base would at least know and kind of want to use a little bit more. So correct me if I'm wrong, comment down below if you guys disagree, but it should not be that way.